And welcome back to another college basketball talk with your boy Will Dickinson. We're back for week 2 here of the college basketball season. And we have not really much action to talk about from the weekend because I did do an episode Saturday morning recapping the big stuff that happened on Friday. But let's talk about a couple notable results, maybe really only one we're going to talk about a lot. And there's really only been one change since to my top 25 since my last episode. And it is St. Mary's dropping out. They lose a game at home to Weber State. Not a good loss, right? They lose to a unranked Weber State team. Now, Weber State, maybe they're going to be a good team. It's not really, gosh, why can't I ever find these games? Weber State, I really should have had it up, but Weber State, played a very, very good game. They end up winning it. St. Mary's is a team that, played really, really well in their first win there. They were looking good. Aiden Mahaney looked great. Then you go on and lose kind of a disappointing one to Weber State. St. Mary's is 2-1. Dylan Jones, I believe his name, 29-10 this one. This dude is a real player. Very well. Yeah, Dylan Jones, 29 points in this one in a Weber State upset 61-57. Mahaney struggles. Only 3 players in double digits, and they shot the 3 ball very badly. Holy crap. They end up shooting 5 for 27 from 3, and you cannot be doing that in college basketball. Weber State, not much better, 6 for 21, but just a little bit more efficient, and they, made one more free throw, but they just outplayed them there. And when you have one player that scores 29 points, damn near half your points there, really good game for Weber State, and maybe they can, make a run into the tournament. And we'll see. But yeah, St. Mary's, I still like them in the WCC this year, but you're coming off a very good win early in the week. Who they play early in this week? I can't remember. I just can't remember all this. So they ended up beating New Mexico in a very good game, and then they got a look ahead game on Friday, I believe, against San Diego State. So maybe a little trap game. Then they have Davidson, who's looked pretty good, and then Utah is pretty good. So not an easy schedule for Boise State, and this was one of the easiest games they had in the beginning of this year, and they ended up losing that game. So maybe it was a trap game, but a good win for Weber State. St. Mary's falls out of my top 25, and the new team in. I said last episode was going to be San Diego State. I take it back. It's going to be the Colorado Buffaloes. Again, they haven't played a lot of good competition this year, but I do have them sitting there in my 25 slot, moving JMU up to 21, Michigan State up to 22, Illinois up to 23, Alabama up to 24. Other notable results is Clemson ends up winning the Asheville Classic, whatever that tournament was called. It was an Asheville Invitational, whatever. Clemson ends up winning it, beating, I believe, not UAB, being Davidson. That's what I was talking about. Davidson in the championship game. Good look from for Clemson. 2 close wins, but 2 wins nonetheless. They're in my other considerations list there. PJ Hall is going to be an all ACC type player. And Brad Brunell in a very big game, a big year for him and his job security at Clemson. Good start to the year. I believe they're 3-0. And the other big storyline from that tournament was Maryland going 0-2 there. A team that had some top 25 buzz, a team that I didn't have in my top 25, but was just out of it. Now they're starting the year 1-2, and they have a tough game coming up, I believe, at Providence. So they could fall to 1-3 there. With that, with the Big Ten, Big East. What are those games called? I can't remember what they're called anymore. But you got the Big East Big Ten Challenge, and we're going to mostly spend this episode just talking about the Monday and Tuesday games, which, that's going to be very, very excited to talk about. So let's get into it. We have the Monday games coming up here, and yes, it's the Big Ten Big East Challenge. Or what is that called? No, I can't remember what it's called, but it's going to be going. The first game that tips off is we got Michigan traveling to St. John's to play in MSG in a big game. Michigan, we do not know if Juwan Howard's going to be in the sideline. Not sure yet. St. John's 1-0. Michigan 2-0. Soriano's been very good in that first game at 22-11. It's a deep team. It is. And we'll see the real first look of Rick Pitino back in a big environment, big stage game. And this Michigan team didn't have a lot of hype coming into it. If they can win this game against St. John's, they will be maybe in my top 25. It will depend on how things shake out there. Olivia Nkwong, the guy from Tennessee, playing really good in his first two games. Dougie McDaniel playing very good as well. Michigan, these are just a lot of good games going on between these two conferences here. And I think this is the last year of this challenge. So, good games coming up. And these are two teams that have different expectations. And if St. John's wins this, St. John's fans don't feel like you're automatically back. And if you lose this, don't panic. It's the second game of the year for you. And a big one in MSG. It's good to see St. John's getting a game this early in Madison Square Garden. Some people may call that the Rick Pitino effect. He's bringing that to St. John's, and we'll see how they play in his first major game there. The other game in this challenge tonight is Xavier versus Purdue. Purdue's big favorites in this one. This is in West Lafayette in Mackey Arena. They're going against Xavier. Sean Miller, a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year, going against Purdue. I think Xavier's lost a lot from last year's team, and that's why they don't have big expectations this year. But 2-0, Claude has been very good, but they just don't bring a lot. He was on last year's team, but this is a new-looking team, while Purdue has pretty much the same exact team. Zach Edey, Braden Smith, Fletcher Loyer struggled to start up this year, but you still have Caleb First, Mason Gillis, and they've had some new players come in there, and be serviceable, like Lance Jones. This Purdue team, I have them two in the nation. A win here just solidifies that. This is their first somewhat of a test, and again, the Xavier team was very good last year. We'll see if they can be a tournament caliber team. Mixed expectations from this year. I didn't know if I really had them as a tournament team, but I like the way Purdue's, scheduling. I guess this wasn't really scheduling, but I like Purdue, this year, and they're going to Maui. So this will be a first real test before they go to Maui and see if they can go and winning that tournament. If you win Maui, you're going to be the number one team in the nation. Most likely, because I'm so excited for that next week. One of my favorite weeks in sports is next week, having the week off. And then you got great college basketball, Maui, Battle for Atlantis, other small, great tournaments. And then, of course, NFL, college football on all week, NBA. Thanksgiving week is one of the most underrated weeks in sports and one of my favorite weeks of the year. I'm sorry. So Maryland doesn't go play Providence. Who does Maryland play now? It's not Providence, but is it? Who is it then? I think I'm so dumb. Maryland. I do not know who Maryland plays. I swear. Okay, maybe it's not Providence. Maybe it's it's Nova. Maryland plays Nova. Okay. I was thinking for a second, I was like, what? Okay, I knew it was a solid team. But let's get into this freaking Tuesday, because I think Friday was a very good day in college basketball. I think Tuesday takes it over as being the top day so far in college basketball. We have a lot of good games. I believe we have 3 ranked-on-ranked matchups, while Friday we only had 1. So a lot of good games, and I'm just excited for this because again, be some change in the top 25, and one team that was in my preseason top 4 is going to be 1 and 2. Oh, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough for that fan base. But let's talk about some of these games on Tuesday. Coming up, first game, I'm just gonna go in chronological order. We got Wisconsin versus Providence, a very good one here. Wisconsin, lost to Tennessee on Friday at home, so you do not want to drop to your second game already. Kim English's first big game as the coach of Providence. Bryce Hopkins is back. B-Hop He's going to be one of the best players in the Big East this year. Providence 1.5-point favorites here. I think this is going to be a very good game. Another just Big Ten, Big East matchup here. Two teams that I think can and have expectations to make the tournament here. One of these teams already has a tough home loss. So your Wisconsin, I think you're a little bit more desperate here, trying to get a good, probable quad one win on the road here. Providence 1.5-point favorite. It's going to be a close, even game here. And that's a great way to start off this amazing Thursday night with a good one there in the Dunk. One of the best environments in college basketball. Another one, a big one. Two teams with a loss. Duke in the Champions Classic in Chicago takes on Michigan State. Both these teams suffered a tough loss last week, with Michigan State losing their opener to James Madison, while Duke loses at home. Jon Scheyer's first loss at home to a tough and really good Arizona team. So the question is, what team needs this win more? And I gotta say, Duke needs this win more. The reason for Duke is they're a younger team who has a younger coach. So I think you need a win to start. You need a win this win to build confidence, show that you're still very legit. And I believe even if Duke loses this game closely, I still think they'll be legit. But you don't want to have this number one recruiting class this year, number one recruiting class next year. You want to win these big games to start off the season here. You lose one at home is tough. You don't want to do that. And if you go 2 losses, and these are understandable losses, but you want to win this 3.5-point favorites, don't want to lose 2 games you're favorited in. And while you're Michigan State, you have Tom Izzo. There's one thing to not be super nervous about. I would be frustrated because I feel like Michigan State almost does this every year, to where they just get off to slow starts the last couple years. And they haven't had an elite team since really, the 2020 team was going to be good. But of course, since the tournaments happened, it's been since 2019 where they've had that elite team going into a tournament. And I think many people thought this was their year. I believe this was the year. I think I had both these teams as Final Four teams, not just in my top 4, but as a Final Four team. Of course, Michigan State is going to have to shoot the ball better. They're 2 for 31 from 3, which is just despicable. It's 6%. That is just really, really bad. So they got to be able to shoot the ball. Duke's got to be able to rebound the ball. That's been a problem for them. And I think Duke's still really I think both these teams are actually figuring out their rotation. I think they know who their star players are, know who their best players are. But I think when it comes to the bench, they both have good depth, and they're just going to figure out who can fill in those roles the best, because Michigan State has some good freshmen that haven't been playing as much. And really the same thing for Duke. So a really good game of the Champions Classic, man. These games really never disappoint. There's always one of them that's super, super good. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the one that is the nail biter here, and both these teams looking to not to avoid their second loss of the year. If I'm being honest, I would expect both these teams to be undefeated, but they both have a loss. So I'm taking Duke in this one. I believe they're the better team. But if Michigan State can find their shot, then I wouldn't be surprised if they could pull off a win here. But really, just a great college basketball game on Tuesday, and I'm super excited for it. It's gonna be must watch here. Champions Classic, a great way to really start the college basketball season. It used to be really on the first night, but now it's in the second week, so not as fun, but still great. The second ranked matchup we'll be talking about is Marquette. They're traveling down to Illinois, to take on Illinois. They're traveling to Champaign to take on Illinois. Tyler Kulik, not known to be available yet. Did twist his ankle in his first game. Kind of sprained it. We're not sure if he'll be able to go. If he is, it's really just going to be a game time decision. And if he's not there, it's going to be tough for Marquette to win this game. He's their best player. Yes, Cam Jones has played amazing this year. But you can't rely on him to give you everything. With Tyler Kulik, biggest player of the year last year, one of the best players in the country, and this Marquette team, who I have ranked 3rd in the country, going on the road against a team that I have 23rd in the country. These are two really good teams. Illinois, led by Terrence Shannon, one of the best guards in the country. This is just a great guard matchup. Coleman Hawkins, very, very good. And they're also at home, right? And that's something that's a big advantage in college basketball. This is going to be just a very, very good look for both these teams. Two teams that love to go up and down the court here. It's going to be a higher scoring game. And, Illinois has played very well in non-conference games. And this is a big first test for them going against one of the best teams in the country. Just an amazing matchup, man. Whoever wins this game, it's gonna be a very, very good win. But whoever loses, I'm not taking too much away from them. Illinois, you would love to get this at home, but if not, and Tyler Kulik plays, and you're saying, oh, that's one of the best teams in the country we're going against, and you can't take too much off it. But if Marquette wins, it's just a great road win, and it proves to me they're in the upper echelon of college basketball teams and a real contender to not just win the Big East, but win the national championship. And that's just an amazing game. Illinois, -1.5. I wonder if that would change with the Tyler Kolek injury available or not. I'm assuming it would be if something would change like that. But at home, again, big advantage for teams at home in this one. Good environment they're going to be playing in. And really just going to be a super good game. Expect a back and forth one. Kansas taking on Kentucky in the second half of this Champions Classic, tipping off at 9:30 because they got to do the freaking college football playoff rankings. I have Kansas as now my number one ranked team in the country. I do have Kentucky 15. The AP poll had them at 17 in the latest edition. This is going to be a great one here. The freshmen of Kentucky with Rob Dillingham, DJ Wagner, Justin Edwards, Aaron Bradshaw, Reed Shepard. I mean, the list goes on. And you have some veterans with Trey Mitchell and Antonio Reeves. A great test for Kentucky going against the number one ranked team in the country. You would love to keep this one close here. And this is a good showing for Kansas to prove that they're the best team in the country. As a guy who didn't see them as it, right now I have them as it. But I want to see Hunter Dickinson. Can he dominate this game in a big stage? DeJuan Harris is an amazing point guard. Is he going to have that experience to overwhelm these Kentucky young guards? I think that could be very, very evident if he can do that. And a big reason for why Kansas could win this game is because of the experience DeJuan Harris has. This Kansas team is just super deep. I expect them to be able to win this game. They're 5.5-point favorites in Chicago. Again, just this game is just going to be amazing. Kentucky, I'm not too worried if Kentucky loses this game. I think as long as you keep it respectable, then you can just say, look, that's the best team in the country, and we play good, and we still are a young team that's going to learn throughout the year. If you get blown out, maybe there's some concerns. And if you're Kansas, you just want to get the job done and prove that you're the best team in the country, which I believe they can and they will do. Kevin McCullough, KJ Adams, this team's experience. They have youth. They have the experience. They have great coaching. They have the talent. They have the ins. They have the outs, the guards, the bigs. Kansas is probably the number one ranked team in the nation for a reason. I expect them to get a win. But shit, who knows? They could lose. Iowa and Creighton's really that last really good game on Tuesday. A local matchup, Nebraska versus Iowa. Creighton in Nebraska, not Nebraska versus Iowa, but Creighton is in Nebraska. So a local matchup here. Creighton, 9.5-point favorites. Ryan Kalkbrenner hasn't been the star. It's been Trey Alexander, Baylor Sherman, Stephen Ashworth. These are all great experienced players, and Trey Alexander's been the main star. He's averaging over 20 in their first two games of the year. Iowa has looked very good as well. Yeah, this should be a real competitive one. Iowa, a team where I'm not sure in this year. Of course, they lost Chris Murray last year, Keegan the year before. Kind of a new look Iowa team. Of course, this is gonna be a tough environment to go into. going to Creighton and trying to win a game in Omaha. It's not an easy task for Iowa. I expect Creighton to win. I mean, I think Creighton's one of the best teams in the country, one of the best offensive teams in the country. They're so deep. The Big East is just going to be so tough this year, and I'm excited to see the Big East go against the Big Ten talent because I believe the Big East is the second best conference in college basketball this year. Behind the Big 12 and then the SEC, then the Big 10, then the ACC, then the Pac-12. But there's just so many good games this week. Tuesday is going to be an amazing, amazing day. 3 ranked on ranked matchups, Champions Classic. All you got to say is Champions Classic. And you know what's going on. We got 4 big brands going against each other. Not really much this episode since I did that Saturday episode recapping Friday because I already recapped the weekend. So really not going on. I believe I should be back on Wednesday to recap that Champions Classic and every good game. And then talk about the upcoming week and preview and have a good time and enjoy some college basketball. Friday, Wednesday I'll be good. Friday, I'm not sure what I'm gonna be able to do because I'm gonna be up in Harrisonburg. College game days, going to JMU. I was going there regardless, so it's kind of crazy that like somehow I am going there. Like it was just luck that college game day came there. So that's going to be fun going to a JMU basketball game. They're ranked 24th in the nation. I mean, this is crazy. And then going to game day in the morning. And then, of course, going to the football game. So that's going to be fun. But I'll try to bring an episode. I'll bring my mic and my laptop and try to get one Friday night after the basketball game. But there's no guarantee on that. But we can talk about more of that on Wednesday. So, guys, go join some college basketball tonight and especially tomorrow night. Peace out, guys. Sorry for the short episode, but I didn't really have much to talk about besides that. Just wanted to, of course, give another update and talk with you guys. Peace.